Welcome back. Today we're going to do my blue wing olive nymph. We've done one like this before, but it was we called it the improved or something like that. And it was kind of a speed thing, but I didn't do the original. And I'm going to do the original with all the componentry. This fly for sure is our #1 selling nymph in the shop. Not overall, but as mayfly nymphs go, it's the #1 selling fly for sure. And it sells like that because this thing hunts. This thing is really, and there's not much to it. It's the dubbing enhancer, the UV stuff we're going to put in the wing, just like we did the other one. This one's going to be the Biot version, and it truly does. This thing's, it's as advertised. It fishes like crazy. So you're going to go through it. It's a straightforward nymph. There's just that one little kick to it, but we're going to have the Biot in it, and I'll go through a couple things. So first of all, I'm going to do it. Go through the hooks. I'm going to use the U series of Umpqua's new U series hooks. This is their kind of their economy version hook. And as usual, I'm going to do this on a dry fly hook. And I do most of my nymphs on dry fly hooks. I don't weight them very often. I want them to wiggle around underwater as much as they possibly can. And so I do a lot of them on the dry fly hooks. If you want to do it on a wet fly hook, that'll be just fine. I just, for me personally, that's how I've done mine, with the idea that I run most of my nymphs on loops, and I try to get them to move, and the lighter the hook is, the better, but it'll be just fine for when I use a wet fly hook. So we're going to have that, and I'm going to do this on a size 14, just so we can see it. We do this from 14 to 20, and so you can do whatever you want. It's very versatile. You can just, and the color changes very easily. So let's see. We're going to throw our tail. It's going to be Hungarian partridge. Obviously, we wouldn't have to buy a whole skin for this, but I really dig Hungarian. It is such a versatile thing. You can get so much done with one of these things. You can do hackling, you can use tailing, you can do a lot of stuff with it. Wing cases. So that's going to be the tail. That's all we're going to use that for. Let's see, body-wise, I'm going to do a Biot. You might be able to see this easier to see a quill, I mean. And I'm going to go through this in a second about what these things are, and Biot versus quill, and just so you understand it, it's the same, still part of the same feather. And this one's going to be olive. What color was it? The original
blue wing olive.
Blue wing olive quills. And this one's kind of, I'm going to use this over time. This one's kind of faded out. And you'll see that a lot in these things if they sit around too long. This one, they'll just change a little bit of color. Don't worry about that too much, because you can do it in any color you want. So the wing case is going to be pheasant tail right here. It's going to be a pheasant tail, standard pheasant tail. You don't have just any old, any old feather. That's for the wing case. The thorax is peacock dub, and I just want to show you. This is one thing that you can sub this fly. Johnny, Mr. Corrector, is sure I used peacock in the original one. I was pretty sure I used this ice dub. And on a lot of my own, I do ice dub, and I can't tell the difference. It's maybe a little bit more durable if you use this stuff, but that one you could sub too, so it's not a really big deal there. And last, the most important thing about this fly, and truly, I mean, this is the kicker. If you don't have, it is an incredible difference between this and just a standard PT, because it's basically all this thing is, a pheasant tail. And so, but putting this little tiny bit of dubbing enhancer, or UV pearl, which is what this is, putting that in there is absolutely critical. And by the way, I put that in almost all my mayfly nymphs. I put it in, like when I tie my own hare's ears, I put it in. Originally when I did it on this one, I did it for gills, because of the Batis nymphs where the gills are, and I put it in thinking it would help look like that. And I don't know if it mattered, but I started putting in everything. Then I put it in my hare's ears, and now the fly looks kind of somewhat naked without it to me. So, lastly, with like all my nymphs, I'm going to use some burgundy thread. This is just, 6/0 Danville. So onward we go. Where are we at? Oh yeah, fly tying. So, by the way, I apologize for my hands in advance. By the way, if you go into Costco and that older lady selling the Cutco knives tells you they're the sharpest knives she's ever seen, it's true. That's why my hand. Don't test it. So I tried to, but they're kind of beat up right now. So putting this in here, I'm going to set this thread. I'm going to set it. I want it to be, you know, like I tell you all the time. If you use a gauge to get another fly, so you can use it to see, you know, kind of where you are. I like to break this in about 1/3, 2/3, just like most of the nymphs. So roughly going to come in here, give ourselves 1/3 for our thorax, 2/3 for our abdomen. Get off of there. Going to pick, and it, you know, when you're looking at these things, this is kind of random. I just like the little speckles on the legs or the tails. I like that. And I love, that's the thing about this stuff, is when you got a Hungarian partridge, they're 3 or 4, they tend to wave a little bit, and they got a little modeling color to them, all these specks, and I mean, you could do virtually anything you wanted, but it just looks cooler when you use this. And it's got that freedom of movement. It just, they're soft, tackly things, and so I just picked one out of there. Not going to use much. Remember, this is a beta, so it's going to have 2 or 3 tails. If it has any, the hell, they fall off sometimes. So we're going to just take 3 or 4 of them here. Just get them down the side. If you have 5, that's going to be okay. The last I checked, they didn't count them. So I'm going to come in here just like always, and I'm going to put, I want it to be the length of the body. So try not to hit that cut every time. I'm going to put that in there, wrap it forward, nice and clean. We're just cleaning up our body. And now we're going to take our Biot. Hey, stop that. Check this out. New tool. Buddy of mine, Don McHugh, makes these up on, he's the guy that did this thing for me too. We just got him, he's selling them. This thing's made out of driftwood off the Yellowstone River. All winter he goes around and collects this stuff and it makes these things. They're really cool. They fit your hand like a champ. But we're going to come in here. That was a quick sale. We're going to come in here very quick. And we're going to pick out one of these Biot feathers, or quill feathers. Before I go on, let me just go. This is the Biot side of the feather, okay, the short side. And you could do it out of, when you're talking turkey quill, and some goose, you can go into the Biot side. You strip down here enough to get into the actual feathers that are long enough. But you could tie that Biot in. It would be fine. It's a little easier for me to work with these longer ones, and it's not much of a body. It's just, the beauty of this is the segmentation. It just you got a multitude of shades that you can work with these feathers, and so it's just real easy. It's economical. I mean, these things, you get 1 million of these things, and so it's just, but you frequently, people ask me the difference between a Biot and a quill. Well, it's just the wrong side of the feather or the other, but this one's going to be done with the quill side. So we're going to come in here. I'm going to real lightly tie that in. You don't need to really reef on that. But you don't want to start, and I break a lot of these. You don't want to break or tie it in really tight, because you kind of pinch down on them, and you'll break them off right out of the gate. So just very easily get that first one started, and make sure you're covering everything. And you can see it just gives you a beautifully segmented body. That's why we use them. And so in here, and I don't do this. I actually had to ask Jeremy, because a lot of times I counter rip these things when especially with the quills. They're just they're not really strong. And so if you do that, you have to wrap one or the other the opposite direction. If you're going to do this, like if you're going to, on the original Sawyer, the original pheasant tail, this was called the Sawyer nymph, and on that, they wrapped their body material one way, and then but they did the whole thing's tied with wire, right? And so the actual wire's in your bobbin, and so they wrapped it this way and counter wrapped with their wire. So if you're going to counter wrap it, just be mindful that you go the opposite direction. So now I'm going to take a little bit of pheasant tail, and I say this a lot. I hate skimpy little wing cases, and so I'm going to take enough of these that I'm going to have a little bit of build. I'm probably going to have 8-10 fibers here, You can always take them off, but man, if you don't have enough, they don't, the wing case is, once this thing's off the bottom, the wing cases swell up a little bit as they're trying to ascend. And that's generally when you're fishing these things. And so it's usually a little darker and it's a little bulbous. So I just like to build a little bit of bulk in here. And so I'm going to cut that off and I'm going to tie this in, work forward just about to the eye. I'm going to come back. And this is a good chance for you to check your proportions. Look to make sure you're not way forward. You get this little tiny, just pick it up and look. Are you roughly in that 1/3, 2/3 when you pull it forward? Is it going to be enough? Tie it in, get it done now. So now I'm going to take this and when I did the first one, the improved one, because we've got a little better with it. Jeremy's, a lot better at this than Johnny. Just kidding. We in the old studio before we put this one up, the lighting wasn't as good, and we really didn't think you could see what we were putting in. And when I used Senyo's because of the UV white, and we put in the same amount, but it looked like it was twice as big as it is. And so if you're looking at that when you say this one's more sparse, it's really not. I'm just using what I actually use. And I'm going to show you how much I use on this, and it's not much. And I'm going to tie it in how it should be. It looked, like I said, we could hardly see that when we did the first one. And so what I'm looking for is not a ton of fibers. And so when this is wet, it's, when it's scrunched down, it's like that. There's no way I'm going to count those, but you can see what it is. I'm going to get it wet just a little bit there. It's not much. It doesn't need this giant amount in here. So I'm going to take, and all I've done is I've kind of barred it out here. I pulled another one out here, and I was sitting here trying to count them. I was going to hit 1, 2, 3. I don't know. It's maybe 15. I don't know. 20 maybe. I don't know. They're so little tiny fibers, but you can see that. I pull it out, and I was actually literally trying to count them. Couldn't. And so, cut that off. Got a little glue on these scissors or something. Why'd you do that? Jeremy must have done it. Everybody's out to sabotage me. Why do they do that?
Make things interesting.
Yeah, keep it interesting. See if you can react on your feet. So, back to this stuff. What is going on? So I'm going to tie this in. Leave this long. Don't clip it later. So I'm going to come in here, figure 8, real light. You don't need much pressure on this. Just get it out of your way. And you'll see on the commercial ones, a lot of times they tie it in the middle. I don't know why. I never did that. The ones, and it's my fly, so they should have tied it that way. But I'm just going to tie this in. It's going to be pretty long. Grab a couple peacock curls here. Peacock curls. You got to sort through this stuff. It's not all that great. But it's going to be underneath this wing case here. So I'm going to tie this in and go right up to, leave yourself room for your head. Get this stuff out of the way. Get one good turn right here. And one thing with all your thoraxes, for me personally, I like to see it pretty thick. I like to see that hump. So I'm going to come over this thing, and I usually build a little bit more right in the beginning here. I mean, I go back over everything, and I'll come back, and I build up more than you think you need, because I want that hump to the back. And I hate when I see that little skinny part right there when I start. So, but that's up to you. Just however you like the looks of it. But for me, I like them to be kind of big. Got talking, I split those two because I have them together. Cut. Okay. So, I'm going to go back to that. So I let those two split while I was talking, and I'm just going to come back here. So, nice, dozen turns there. So now I'm just going to come in here, cut that off, leaving room. Now come over top of this and just split it so you can see that you got both of them in there, just like that. Just pull this over. We'll do this now. When you come over the top, when you're looking down on it, kind of look to see that these things are, I'm going to turn it sideways so you can see it. Look to see that they're spread out. Don't have them in on a big wad like that. Look to see that they're spread out. Just take your thumb and flatten it out just a little bit. It'll clean your wing case up so much better, and it'll be full and thick like that. And just take your thumb, push down on it just a little bit like this, and set it down. And then try not to let it, like right there. When I was kind of just chatting it up, right? And I went through. And when I laid it down, put the first turn, it rolled one over. Don't let that happen. Go back and just stop it. So come in here, open them up, put your thumbnail right into it, whatever, and just clean it up so it's a nice, clean little head. There. Got the magic scissors today, collecting everything. Just come in here. Just give yourself, I'm using the burgundy thread as always on my nymphs. Can't see that. Beautiful. About 3 turns for your head. Piece of cake. Now we're going to come in here, make sure we've got these are about the same length or width. Come in here, and I just cut mine about the length of the body. I go just a little bit short of the body, right there. All right, and just pull them back, and just so they're about the length, not the body, excuse me. So they're about the length of the abdomen. And then, so I just come in here, boom, cut them off. Got some stragglers laying around there. Don't worry too much about them. Whatever it is in this UV stuff, that's what makes this thing hunt. And so, but again, they were supposed to look like, right now they're kind of flared out. They're supposed to lay down, got to spin them up a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So when they lay back there, they're supposed to look like gills. And they've got gills down the side of their abdomen, right? And so if they're a little bit loose or whatever, that's just fine. They're going to lay down there and it's going to give you that little reflector. I don't even know if that's what they eat it for. All I know is without it, they don't eat it as well. So it's super straightforward. It's just like the one we did before, but this time we did the Biot version, and so or the Quil version. And so it's a little bit slower because of adding that one thing, but I think they fish better. I like the idea. I like the fact that I can take any shade. You can buy these things in anything you want. And so, you can get lighters, light grays and olives, darker ones. It's super easy to change up with your Biots, but that dubbing enhancer and the Quil body truly makes this fly outfish the standard one. And sometimes, I would go 2 to 1 with that dubbing enhancer. It's a crazy just a little tiny reflection, but man, it really makes a difference. Hope you liked it. Hope it helps you out.